guys, welcome back. Today we are going to start with application of derivatives. Now as you have done with derivatives, continuity and derivatives, that how do we prove that a function is continuous, how do we do differentiation and how do we work with them. So now we are going to do how will we apply the applications like for doing with the derivatives. Okay, so now continuing with the very first thing, rate of change. I'll just tell you what all things we are going to cover here and step by step, and then I'll start with the topic. First of all, we are going to do with rate of change. Then we are going to do with the topic of maxima and minima. Okay, then we are going to do with local maxima and local minima. After this, we are going to do with the derivative test. How do we calculate local maxima? How do we calculate local minima? And show with this. So derivative test stands a very important role for getting onto the values of local maxima, local minima. And there is another topic that we are going to do is tangents and normals. Okay, so the very important topics are maxima, minima and local maxima, minima, because they are mostly asked in exams. Other than that, rate of change is the very basic level of the starting of derivatives, because whenever you are working with derivatives, you will definitely want to understand or you will have to understand by willingness or by not having a willingness that what is the rate of change and how do we calculate it. So starting up with the rate of change itself, and we will be doing with the topic now. Okay, so now coming on to with rate of change, the very first and the important topic that comes out to be is rate of change. Now how do you calculate a rate of change? For example, if I take that my function is fx, so how will I do rate of change? For example, if I take it as x. Okay, so rate of change will be differentiation of the function with respect to y or with respect to t. T refers to time, t refers to time, y refers to the function that we are dealing in. That is, for example, I say a simple mathematical equation can be 3y equal to 3x, right? So y is a function where 3x is like dependent. I can say that my value of y will be dependent on x. So y is a function wherein it is working on 3x or at the value of x that is multiplied by 3. So this is my function. Now my differentiation will be differentiation y with respect to differentiation of x, that will be 3. This x will be dx by dx, that is equal to 1. So my dy by dx becomes 3. As you have done with the previous chapter also of continuity and differentiation, so I need not explain that why we have taken this value. We are not working with this value directly and instead we are working with dx by dx. So this will be my rate of change, that is whenever I am calculating dy by dx or dy by dt, that is differentiation with respect to time. So that will be my rate of change. Now whenever I am talking in terms that my function is either increasing, my function is decreasing, or it is constant, so how do I get to know that it is like that? Okay, so now for example, again if I take it as my function is f and it is a real function and it's working with the I intervals where I is my domain. Okay, so I'll take it as like my function is fx and it's working with like a b where AB are my intervals and I will say I, which is equal to my domain. Okay, so how will I work with it? To calculate the function is increasing or decreasing. First of all, I'll take up with the two values. I'll put in this. Okay, now where x1 is for like I will be taking x1 is less than x2, and if I receive that my functional value of x1 is also less than functional value of x2, that is my y1 is also less than y2, then I will say that my function is strictly increasing. Now, what does my strictly increasing means? Whenever I am having only the value of greater than or less than, I'll say it is strictly increasing or decreasing. Whereas if I say that I am having equal to sign also, I will say it is only increasing, because it is also having an equivalent value. That means I am also having one point where my x1 y1 will be equal to y2. So this is not strictly increasing, although it is increasing, but it is not strictly increasing. So that is here if I take up with the functional value where my x1 is smaller than x2 and I receive the functional value of y1 also less than y2, then I will say my function is strictly increasing. Whereas if I take x1 less than x2 and I receive my functional value y1 less than equal to y2, then I will say that my function is only increasing. Okay, it is not strictly increasing, it is increasing. Okay, so now next part is when I am taking, again I will be taking x1 less than x2. Okay, the values will be again less than x2, but here if my functional value of x1 is greater than functional value of x2, that is my signs have changed now, and my y1 will also be greater than y2, then I will say my function is strictly decreasing. Okay, and whereas if I say that my x1 is less than x2 and I receive y1 is greater than equal to y2, then I will say my function is decreasing. Not strictly decreasing, it is decreasing, because of the same reason we are having one point where y1 is equal to y2. Okay, so this is the reason where we these are a few points. First point is that when we are working with strictly increasing. Second point is that when we are working with increasing function. Third, strictly decreasing. Fourth, decreasing. Now, there is also these are only for decreasing, increasing, and we know that there is also a point where we are having equal to, that is x1, when we are taking x1 less than x2 and we receive the both the functions are equal. So that point of value you will not have in such a cases, because you will either get less than equal to or greater than equal to. Okay, so there is no situation when you are only receiving equal to sign. Okay, so now taking up with the derivatives. Okay, working with derivatives now. Derivatives. Now taking up with the derivative text, how do we know that a function is increasing, decreasing, strictly increasing, strictly decreasing, or we are having the point of inflection? Now I am using the point of inflection. Why? Because we are working with derivatives. Okay, whenever you are only working with x and y, just remember you will not have a value where you are receiving x equal to y, because you are already taking the point when you are having x1 is less than x2. So you will not have that point that your x is equal to other one. Okay, so now working with the derivatives. So let's take a function which is continuous. So my f is continuous on basically a comma b. These are my intervals of domain, and the function is also differentiable. So f is also differentiable at a comma b with open intervals. Just remember you are taking up with the open intervals. And now if your function is said to be strictly increasing, so we'll say it as like if f will be strictly increasing, if your f dash x, now if your f dash x turns out to be greater than 0. Now I'll do it with the help of example. Now if I take it as fx equal to 3x, alright. So now if I'll take up with the differentiation, f dash x comes out to be 3. Now which is greater than 0? So my function is increasing, and that too strictly increasing, because it's not equal to 0 in either of the cases, right? If I say that my function is only increasing, then f is increasing. Okay, this sign is for increasing and this sign is for decreasing. I will be using these notations for making the work go easier. Okay, so now if the function is increasing, then my f dash x will be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so now there will be a situation when you will either have equal to 0 or you will have greater than 0. So that will be your function when you will be saying that my function is increasing. Okay. So now coming on to with function is strictly decreasing or decreasing. So now if I state that my f dash x is less than 0, that is my function will be strictly decreasing. Now again I'm taking an example of like f dash fx equal to minus of 3x. Okay, so my f dash x will become minus 3. Now this is less than 0. So I will say my function is strictly decreasing, because I received a negative value which is totally less than 0, which is not equal to 0 also, it's totally less than 0. So my function is strictly decreasing. Now if I say that my function is, again if I say some function is there fx, and when I derive it or take its derivative first and derivative if I'm taking, then if my f dash x comes out to be less than and equal to 0, that is either my value is equal to 0 or my value is less than 0 after differentiating, my function will be decreasing, not strictly decreasing, it will be decreasing. Now there is another condition also. If I say that my f function is equal to, for example, 3, and if I take f dash x which is equal to 0, so if I'm deriving a constant number, I'll always get a 0, because constant will have 0 derivative. So this will be my point of inflection. So I'll say that this is the point of inflection where I am not having any greater than value or less than value, or basically I'll not say it as inflection, I'll say point of constant. Okay, my function is constant at this point of time. It is not either increasing or it is not either decreasing, right? So because 3 is just a point, so I can easily state that it's constant. Now coming on to with next part. So now coming on to with maxima and minima, that is the next topic. So we are going to discuss with how to calculate with maxima and minima, and how to identify that the function is maximum or going towards its minimum. Okay, in this we also have local maxima minima, and we also have global maxima and minima. So we are going to discuss with all these three major points. Okay. So first we're going to do with maxima and minima, that is in generalized terms how to calculate with maximum value and minimum value. So you do not have to do anything, you just need to take up with the function. That is, if you are given fx that is equal to, for example, x plus 3, so you need to take up with the first hand derivative, that is f dash x. Okay, so f dash x when you are calculating, you will be doing like 1. Okay, x is differentiable, and you will receive 0, that is 3 will be having 0. So now you see that your function was positive initially, and now again when you are receiving the value, it is again positive, right? So this is the value, and now you will keep it as equal to 0. So now you are getting no change in sign, right? So your sign is not changing, so you will say that it is a point when you are having point of inflection, right? So now whenever you are taking up with f dash x, so just remember, first of all, you will take up with the function and you will differentiate it with respect to x, and then the next step that comes out to be is taking up with the critical points, that is taking up with the values of x, that is wherever your value of x is existed, so you will take up with those values. Now what next we will be doing, first we will be finding, for example, if I take fx as like x square plus 2x square plus 3x, okay, so I'll take up with this, and now I can see that first of all I'll take up with f dash x, and then I'll take up with the differentiation of this function, that is 4x plus 3. So what I'll now put it equal to 0, and I will receive x value. Okay, so my x value turns out to be minus 3 by 4. Okay, so now I see that my x value is negative, and although my function was positive, okay, after differentiating, I have received this x value. It is not the answer, it is the x value that I am receiving. So what I will do is, now my value is like negative. Earlier my function was positive, but my value is now negative. So I will say that I am having a function where I am having, it is like local maxima. Okay, I am going from a positive value to a negative value, so I'll have a local maxima, and I will put this value into my actual function to have my local maxima value. Okay, this is not my value. I'll receive the value when I'll put this value in my function. So I'll receive the value of local maxima. Okay, on the other hand, if I am having a function as negative and I'll receive a positive value, then I'll say that my function is going towards a local minima. Okay, so my function will be going towards local minima, whereas if my sign does not change at all, that is if it's positive and I'm getting positive, and if it's negative I am receiving negative, so I will say that my function is having point of inflection, that is it's not either maximum or it's not like it's neither maximum nor minimum. Okay, so this is about our maxima and minima. Okay, now whenever you are going towards global maxima and global minima and local maxima and local minima, okay, so whenever what is the main difference? Under global maxima and minima, your answer is beyond the range described to you. Okay, for example, if I say my values are between 0 and 1, and if I am getting answer that is 2 comma 3, okay, so my one value of x is equal to 2 and my other value of x is equal to 3, so on putting up with 0 and 1, so I'll say that these are my global maximum and minimum values. But if I am receiving any values within the interval, that is 0.5 and 0.75, that are within these two intervals, I'll say them as local maximum and local minimum, not global maxima, global minima, local maxima and minima, because they are lying inside the interval. Okay, so this is the main difference between global maxima and global minima. Okay, so that's all with maxima minima, local maxima minima. Okay, now we are going to do with second hand derivative, how do we know that it is actually heading towards local maxima and minima? Okay, whenever you are having answer which is equal to 0, that is if your function is having f dash x which is equal to 0. Now your first hand derivative is equal to 0, okay, and you are receiving your value. So when you received your function f dash c equal to 0, so what you will do is now that is if your x is equal to c and you are having f dash c equal to 0, now you will take up with f double dash c. Okay, now if your f double dash c comes out to be less than 0, then I say that I am having a local maximum value of f. Okay, so my f will be having local maximum value. I am talking about maximum value. I am not saying my function is increasing, decreasing, or like going heading towards local maxima or heading towards local minima. No, I am saying that value is less than 0, so I will get local maximum value for f. Okay, so remember that whenever you are doing with double derivative, so you will get exact maximum or minimum values. Okay, so f double dash c will be less than 0, so I will say that my value is maximum value at f. Whereas if my f dash c is equal to 0 and my f double dash c comes out to be greater than 0, then I'll say my value is minimum, my function will be having local minimum value at f. Okay, whereas if again like I received f dash c equal to 0 and my f double dash c is also equal to 0, then I will say my function is failed. That is like my function has failed. Why? Because I will not receive any value in this particular type of question. So that's all for this. Now just remember, these are just a recap of the things that you will need to work with the applications of derivative. Applications of derivative is just not limited to this. You will either have like questions on the basis of volume, surface areas, and such type of questions you will be having, where you need to find a local maximum point, local minimum point, global maxima, global minima. You will not have direct questions. You will have to work with the questions and apply them into the situations. Okay, so that's all about applications of derivatives. Now coming on to the last topic, that is tangency and normals, equations of tangent and normal. Okay, so that is a point where which is like asked for 3 or 4 marks in a paper. That's not having a 6 mark question. So now coming on to with normal and tangents. Okay, so what I'll do, I want to find out equation of tangent for a curve. So when my y is equal to fx, okay, y will be function of x, where it is moving towards x1 and y1 are the intervals of this. So how will I calculate with the equation of normal, and how will I calculate with the equation of tangent? Okay, so my equation of normal becomes y minus y1. y1 is this point. Okay, and just remember there is a simple difference between normal and tangent. Minus 1 upon dy by dx and x minus x1. So you will solve this equation and you will get equation of normal. Y minus y1 upon multiplied, which is equal to dy by dx, and x minus x1. So you can just see that I did here minus 1 upon dy by dx, but here I am having dy by dx. So this is my simple difference between equation of tangent and normal. You will solve these equations and you will get what exactly is my equation of normal and equation of tangency. So that's all with this application of derivatives. See, this is only about how to apply things, how to work with the equations, how to solve with the working of x and y values, application on the basis of equation. You will have to do it and practice a lot. And working with the equations is not that difficult, because it's like working with 4 to 5 marker questions and 6 marker questions. These are just too easy. You need to just practice with the questions, and you will get on to with them very easily, and you will score 6 on 6 with such type of questions. So thank you very much. Meet you in next video.